Hello and welcome to another WFL breakdown. I am the commissioner of the WFL and Coach Winuvas of the New Orleans Saints, and today I'm going to be breaking down how to do scheduling in our scheduling thread. We want to make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page here. This is going on, actually, this video is being recorded as we start week one, so there's going to be a little bit of hullabaloo as everybody kind of gets on the same page and we standardize this. This kind of came out a little late. I apologize. I'm sorry. Life happens. But I did want to go ahead and get this out there so that way guys can understand how we want the scheduling process to work and how we want to see communication going forward. Hopefully guys will kind of buy into this pretty quickly and it won't be much of an issue. I'm going to kind of be lenient this first couple of weeks because, again, it's a new process. Everybody's going to be learning this new process. But this is a process we want to establish moving forward, so that way everybody's on the same page and everybody understands how we communicate and how we operate. And so things can be in a uniform manner also for you guys to find your information that you need and not be cluttered with a bunch of other people's information. And so our scheduler or schedulers can find that information as well and be able to kind of make judgment calls on who's been trying to communicate, who hasn't, things of that nature. So this is a breakdown on how we want scheduling to occur in the WFL pretty much going forward. And I'm going to actually show you live here with our Discord chat. So I'm going to pop up Discord here. And you can see we're already in the scheduling thread right now. Let me get there on my computer. There we go. All right, so now you can see we're in the scheduling thread. Now I did test this on mobile, so I can verify this on mobile to a certain extent. And I'll explain a little extra addition if you don't see the symbols I see, so that way you can create a thread of your own if you don't see this. But on your mobile app for Discord, you will see WFL scheduling if you click on that scheduling tab, or that channel I should say. Excuse me. You click on that scheduling channel and you'll see this. You'll also see this icon here and it will show the number of threads active. Okay, if you don't see that, I will show you after this point. After I get done showing you this point, I'll show you how to create a thread on the mobile side and even here. But on the laptop side, on the app side that's on desktop laptop devices, it's a little bit easier. Mobile's a little bit more janky, but I'll show you how to do that too. So over here you can click on threads, and now because of my setup, because obviously I'm an admin, I'm going to see every thread, even ones I'm not tied into. What you're going to do is you're going to create a thread, and you'll do that by simply either tapping if you see this icon on mobile or clicking on if you're on a laptop or device, and you'll click create. And I'm going to create one, and I'm going to label it clearly that it's fake, so that way you guys won't get tricked by it. And I'm going to delete it after this broadcast, so you guys won't see this in live time. You'll see it right here in this broadcast, but you won't see it actually in the league itself. But the way we want threads to start is we want them to start with the season number. The season number, which right now we're currently in, hey, shock, season 1. And we want the week. So season 1, week 1. So S1W1. Obviously next week with week 2 at the time of this recording. When week 2 hits, we'll do S1W2, so on and so forth. Okay, now normally you just have a dash, and then you'll put your team name, and you'll put the team you're playing. And I'm going to put, who do I want to put? I'm going to put Broncos, because that's another member of leadership, and I don't want to panic anybody by putting stuff. Now, this should be the way the thread name looks, the way it currently sits. Now, obviously, because I'm doing a fake one for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to add fake to it, so that way people know, hey, this is not a real thread. This is just something I'm doing for demonstration purposes. Okay, so that should be the way it starts. And then you come in with your starter message. And the starter message should always go as follows. Target your opponent for the week. Okay, you can type at and then type their name in, and poof, it pops up. I'm standardizing all names to where it's the team name, it's the team mascot is the first part of the name, and then there's a line, and then there's the username, the Discord name. Okay, that's the way we're going to standardize our naming process, so that way it's easy to find a team whenever you need to find it. You don't have to ask, well, who's the Broncos owner? Well, if you do an at and start typing in Broncos, one of two things will happen. The name of the Broncos owner will pop up, or nobody will pop up, which means it's a CPU team. Okay, just as an example. Not threatening Maniac. I'm sorry, Maniac, if it sounds like I'm threatening you. All right. The next person you need to tag is the WFL scheduler. And this is, you can type one word, WFL SCH. And once you start typing out scheduler, it should pop up as you see here. And then just hit enter or tap to go ahead and enter it in. And now the scheduler is in the chat. Okay. Now, just to let you know, it's one of our leadership team and myself that you're basically tagging with this. And the reason for that is so that way they see who's making an effort to schedule and who isn't making an effort to schedule, because they'll be tied into every thread that everybody makes in a week. Will it be a lot to look through? Yes, it will. But by tying the schedule in, they're automatically getting any updates as that thread develops. Okay, so they'll be able to look at it at a glance, pop in. And the nice thing about threads is you kind of see where it says archive after inactivity 24 hours. Once 24 hours have passed from the initial communication or the initial message to no messages being done, it will disappear. So you guys, once we get done with week 1 and we move on to week 2, all the week 1 threads will disappear eventually. Okay, now we'll still be able to call them up so we can save them for archive purposes to see who's been trying to schedule and who hasn't. But for you guys, you'll only see either the threads you're involved with or you'll see threads that are recent and active, okay? So right now you see I have my opponent, quote unquote, for this week is the Broncos. And then I have, obviously myself, I'm going to be in this thread. And then I've tied in the scheduler, which also ties in our WFL scheduler. Okay, who's the Cowboys owner, in case you need to know. Not that that matters. All right, so WFL scheduler. And then you'll just type out your schedule. That's ideally what you want us to do with. Ideally, you don't want to start with, when can you play? Okay, ideally you don't want to start with that. I understand that's most people's habit as far as, just throwing stuff out there. If you start this, start with what you can play. So like for me, today is, as the recording, today is Monday. So I'm going to put Monday, I am available, if I spell available right, after, now I'm on Central Time. I usually go Eastern Time just to help people out. 3 p.m. Eastern Time after I get done recording this video. Tuesday after 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And Wednesday, WDNESDAY after. Now, you don't obviously have to type in the full Wednesday, Tuesday. You can put TUE. You can shorten and abbreviate it as you see fit. Just make sure you get your message across of what days you're available and what times you're available. That's the big thing with these posts, okay? And so that's going to be, and we are on a 72-hour schedule. So Monday, we started actually Sunday night, so as of the recording of this video. So we have Monday, Tuesday, and we're going to advance no matter what on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So essentially, Wednesday is my cutoff date, my last day to play. And so Wednesday after 2 p.m. Eastern. And what I do now is I just basically can either click create thread or I can hit enter and poof. Now I have a thread. And as you can see I have this season 1, week 1 fake. Okay. And at this point, you can see I'm in it, Broncos are in it, and the scheduler's in it, which I'm a scheduler as well. So now everyone that needs to be involved in this process as far as monitoring it is there. Okay, and if the Broncos respond and say, I can play, obviously I'm not the Broncos, but say Broncos, I could maybe say Broncos can play Tuesday 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And so that way the WFL scheduler knows we've talked in DM and we saying Broncos can play Tuesday. Okay, or you would chat back and forth on this particular message area. Okay, so this is basically like a DM, but you're adding an extra person with the scheduler, so the scheduler can keep track of who's trying to work it and who isn't. And the nice thing about this process is, number 1, it disappears, so we don't have to see it. Number 2, it's not a DM session where you have to copy group text of DMs to the scheduler and say, hey, this is what I tried to do. No, this is what I tried to do. And it's a he said type of thing. With this system, the scheduler is automatically involved in every single thread. They see everything that goes on in this thread. So everything that's communicated here is what they assume is communication for this game. And so if they see a lack of communication on one side or the other, then they can make a determination of if someone gets a CPU game, if someone gets a force win, things of that nature. Because we do award force wins in the WFL if guys either no-show or make little to no effort to schedule. But I will state for the record that is purely at the discretion of the WFL scheduler, which is currently the Cowboys owner. It is not me. I'm the backup scheduler guy. So if any issues as far as scheduling conflicts, where a decision has to be made on what type, whether you get to play a CPU, whether you get a force win, things of that nature, all of that will go through the scheduler. Okay, I want to emphasize that completely. That's why they are in charge of the schedule. They are going to make the final call on that. That is their decision, and their decision is final. You can try and appeal it to me, but again, I will probably be tied in most of these as well because I'm the backup scheduler. So I'm going to see these threads just like he will. And if he says I award it this way, I can look and pretty much agree with him probably 99.9% of the time. Okay, so just throwing that out there. So if you have any issues with scheduling whatsoever, please make sure you talk to the WFL scheduler, which is the Cowboys owner at this point. You can talk to him in these threads, or you can DM him. But there you go. That's the process we want to see going forward. Okay. And again, the reason for that is very simple. These threads disappear, so they won't clog up any traffic. You won't have to surf through bunches of text. Also, it organizes everything. So that way, if you're playing a particular person, you don't have to sift through 20 other people talking about their games to find the guy that's talking about you and yours. You don't have to DM them either, because this is working as a pseudo DM where we're involved, you're involved, and we're trying to make sure everybody gets the game played as quickly and efficiently as possible, and make sure there's little to no issues in communication between the two parties. Okay, so it's kind of a transparent process that helps everybody kind of figure out who's been trying and who hasn't been trying. So as I minimize this bad boy here and get rid of that, that pretty much does it for how we want scheduling to go going forward. Hopefully that's informative enough. Oh, I did forget something. Hold on, let me come back here, because I said I was going to show mobile owners how to do this, and so I'm going to show you how to do this real quick. So if you come to the scheduling thread and you do not see this, okay, you do not, for whatever reason, you do not see threads. Okay, threads is not there. It's blank space. I'll show you a different space where it will be the case. Actually, it'll show me on every channel on it. Yeah, on the mobile app, this will not show up if there's no threads to play with. Okay, so just a heads up on that. So if you ever click on the scheduling thread and you do not see threads there, what you can do is you can start a thread. So start a fake thread number 2. Okay, so we're going to go here, and then I'm going to click on create thread. Now, excuse me, for you in the mobile app, you may have to go to more, and under more, it will show create thread, as you can see right there. So boom, and you do the same thing as you did before. Season 1, week 1, Saints versus Broncos. I'm not going to call it fake this time. And then I create thread, and then boom, that pulls it in. And then you would do the same thing, except instead of starting the message like that, you would go at Broncos, or at the team you're playing, and then at WFL schedule, which will pull them in as well. And then you do the same thing. Okay, so that's just a way to create the thread in an alternate fashion. Just want to show you that stuff, so that way you see every way to do it, so that way you can't say I didn't know how to do it. Okay, as long as you watch this video, you should know how to do it. Now I'm going to delete this message because I don't want it in there. And I'm going to delete this thread because I don't want it in there because it's not my game this week. And then I'm going to delete this thread. Let me make sure I got it highlighted. Clean that thread off so you can see me clean the threads off before this video is actually done. So there we go. We're done now. Okay, so now I can go ahead and outro out because I've shown you how to create it on a mobile. If you don't have a thread showing that you can click on to start a thread, you can start your own thread, and I showed you how. Showed you how to basically do a thread from beginning to end. Showed you who to tag, your opponent in the WFL scheduler, and basically from there, use that thread to communicate any and all times to make sure your opponent's up to date, you're up to date, and the scheduler's up to date. So that way there's no, passing of notes back and forth. Everybody's there. Everybody can see what's going on. Everybody can see what effort's being made, and we can make judgment calls on any type of, choosing of like force games and things like that. So hopefully this was informative. Hopefully you guys got something out of this video. I appreciate you taking a look-see at it. Hopefully you take a look at any of our breakdowns we do for any of our rules and things of that nature to make sure that you're kind of up to date on the WFL and all its workings and happenings, and making sure that you're caught up and making sure that everything is okay for you. So appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Again, I am Coach Winuvas / Commissioner Winuvas. Commissioner Winuvas of the WFL. I'm not editing that out either. I appreciate you taking the video out, and until next time, guys, I will catch you later.